Now the fight every kid is waiting for. Sir Estivan versus Sir Qwon. The Battle of Titans. Let's learn and see how this goes. Normally when I do these sorts of fights, I try to work on techniques and I try to do little things, see how many different ways I can punish them without doing the same one. So that, right. A lovely shark fin there. So Dryas has his sword here. Sir Estivan does something fairly similar, only he's got his sword angled here. So you see the sword tip is behind his head. That is always a bad thing. You always want it up there, because again, it's that playing a game milliseconds. Half a second to kind of, you get that little, like, say, quarter of a second to get that tip up, and then the swing. So he's there, so when you do that, your elbow kind of sticks out. As your wrist goes, your elbow kind of moves out with it. So I was able to just throw the same shots to them, just snipe the elbow, and his moving it out of the way is now a lot further because it stuck out just that little bit more. That smidge more is all I'm going to need. So the first thing we want to do is flatten out that shield that Sir Estivan has, because it's angled like this, and you want it flat. The moment you angle it out here, now it's not as covered, it's less covered, so now it's not covered at all. So you want full coverage of your shield. Keep it flat, keep your tip straight up in the air. Even pointing a little bit towards your opponent is way better than pointing a little bit behind your head, which his is behind his head. So simple snap, not even really knowing where his guard is there, because probably none of his students punish it. So there's a lack of knowing where the guard is, as well as just leaving something I had to hit. And that swing was not. So that swing there wasn't just a straight chop. It was a chop on the inside and then a little flip, just a tiny little loop in and then snap to the arm. Because either I loop and I hit his arm when he goes to block it, but he went through that little block and then in it goes, just really thin. So my setup, feet, and then stage one, hit, and then the finisher. So back and forths.
No. I was hoping to get yours, but it didn't.
Confusing over how nobody hit nobody. But lots of pommels and hands getting hit. Good job.
I'm trying things. I'm trying to learn.
Try that.
That was a sound measure.
Yeah.
Because that's how you have simultaneous.
I go home feeling hurt. You get me dead. I really want this fight.
Problem with bending over like you were there, Sir Estivan. Like right there. Your whole body is kind of bent over. You have all your weight on this front knee there. Now you can't move. You have to recenter your balance just to be able to move and get out of the way of danger. Is the reason why I never do something like that, because I always want to be able to move my feet wherever they need to be to properly defend myself, because your feet are your first line of defense, and then your shield and sword are your second line of defense. But first the feet, and you're kind of cutting out the first line of defense by doing that and forcing you to have to use your gear, which is what will get you killed. Because if this fails, you don't have this as a backup, versus if this fails, this is your backup. And so now you're just 50% less likely to block whatever it is that's being thrown away. But in this case,
That was a sound measure.
Yeah.
hold on.
I go home feeling hurt. You get me dead. I really want this fight.
There you go. It's just a caught him sort of mid stride there and be able to hit the arm. You can punish their natural tendencies of what they like to do to kind of keep their body going. That's a real easy way, is to catch them mid-pattern.
Yeah. I wouldn't have said that. Would have counted.
Generally, you don't want to throw the same, like, that was me aggressively going for it 3 times in a row. The only reason I knew I could potentially get away with doing it a couple extra times is my sword is a good 2 inches longer than his. So I knew I had just that little extra getaway. They're really sloppy on both of us. That was the end of the day. But like both of us should have swapped instead of just throwing the same failure thing over and over again to the guard that we both have blocked. We should have changed it up. The first one changed it up for the long fight, but instead we both just kind of eventually hit each other where we were trying to hit. And now I'm legged and he's armed. But never do the same thing more than say 3 times in a row. Come up with something new.
It's not like my kids who go for the leg.
Or if you're gonna throw it that 4 times,
like
give
I'm
it a
not
half
close enough
pause,
to
but
get
they
it.
can reset their guard and then throw it one more time. But sitting there with the same guard. So, silly mistake we both made.
Oh, man. I'll have to ask you later what I should have done in that scenario because it
Locking it with the shield.
You were in. You just should have stabbed.
That was a good little attempt there. What on earth was that? I like to step back because you realize you did something dumb. So you step back to reset your sword, where I couldn't hit you.
It's like fake,
was.
fake,
It's gonna
fake,
be on
fake.
camera.
That shot could have worked. So what he was trying to do, but it does. I can go back to it. What's he trying to do?
In that scenario because it was like.
Stabbed. You were in. You just should have stabbed.
See if he does it again.
Instead of-
Yeah. So that's an okay, but the problem is you went up too high, to where now you're way off. Where basically you're now throwing a second shot, versus making the combo work. So you go a lot smaller, and you don't necessarily back up. You bend your knees a little bit more to keep your legs on. You do that a little bit lower. I raise myself to block. Your sword is there, and then you smack down, and then you go back. Versus your second shot, you were already going back, so you were throwing that shot in vain, just out of range. So your first one let me reset my guard to wait for the next one, and then when the
fake,
next one
fake,
came,
fake,
on
fake.
camera.
nothing against me to block. So that's a fine thing to try to do, but do it properly.
My leg somewhere. Yeah. It went boom, 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 boom.
And I felt the boom, and then I saw my shoulder fight quick.
No, it hit here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Also, if you're going to attempt to do that, you want to make sure you're covering your inside lane. So all I can do is swing on the outside of you, because that's a lot less you have to block. Like this side is less versus blocking all of this. There's a lot more for you to not have to worry with that I can hit, versus all I have to hit is this, which is an easy just. That's it. Just, you're there and it's blocked. Which your sword is already in preparation for that next shot anyway, so your guard is even already there. So it's not a bad shot to try to throw, but you got to use your feet a little better. Kind of looked like at first you're trying to do something new, and overdoing.
Yeah, no, it was. I agree.
Go again. Go a little something. Oh, blah, blah. Just. Calm it down a little bit. You don't need to go crazy. There, and you stop. Little blocks, not big blocks. Little blocks.
Yeah.
That was me, dropping right into his sword.
And I
Well
made sure I give a
done.
good saw afterwards. Say, this counts.
What was that? Is that a
My
money
brain
shot?
didn't recognize it.
Oh, yeah, just a little sort of dark side. Yeah, dark side is the counter to the line cross.
And I made sure I give a good saw afterwards. Say, this
Well
counts.
done.
Probably does. My brain didn't recognize it because it was just going down.
Stab. Keep your back straight. Don't bend over like that. Lose him. Oh, I threw that so slow. Oh, that was so open and so free. Oh, I threw that so slow. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, Lee's not okay.
Where do you want to go?
I thought I could be, but sometimes the way you were acting.
Yeah, well, it got my arm,
Yeah,
but
he's dead there.
trying to see if there's anything I can do and learn to do here.
I was going a little quicker. But that's
My arm is saying, hey, Sir Estivan,
Just
you're
work on
working
it.
us out in lots of ways that we're not used to.
Saying your kids aren't any good.
No, no,
As a teacher,
no.
they don't challenge
They usually
Sir
don't
Estivan.
chop off my good arm, and then I don't usually have a 3-minute match with them on their knees. That's what.
It's the
Yeah, here you go. No, I saw the whole logo and
Coach's
everything. I
problem.
wanted it, but
I don't know swing it. There we go. A little more serious now.
dead.
Oh.
Good game.
Step in. Yeah, because everything he was doing was swinging high, and so my shade would block high, so I did that leg.
I just make it up.
So just waiting for that step in to swing with the leg. Kind of gave up hitting his arm because he was going in range for it, I realized, for a couple of swings there, so I didn't bother anymore. I'm like, I'll hit the leg.
Sorry.
Alright. I know you're trying to
I was
hit.
going for the
Tried
shoulder
to stab
pocket,
and
but
hit
I
the gap.
didn't get it.
I blocked it, hit the arm. And a little
Did
wrap
I
shot.
bump the shield or your knee?
My shield.
Yeah, that was good.
You off the leg, I don't think.
Get too desperate. Don't get desperate. Just take your time. Fights can last 20 minutes. As long as you win. 20-minute win is the same as a 2-second win.
Oh, dead. Ripped my shield out. I did this.
Never
You
leave
did.
your shield, leave your sword.
Look at it. Analyzing his own fight. I don't even need to do this. Ooh, he just stabbed there. Alright, so problem with keeping your sword down low like he's doing. Let's go back to it. It's almost over. Keeping it down low. Right, so he's down here, right? He's kind of, now he's ready to do something. It takes a long time to do something high, because you don't want to fight me and gravity. You only want to fight me. So it's better to have your sword up here and let gravity help you try to hit my leg versus keeping it down here and then have gravity fight you if you want to decide to go for my arm or my shoulder. So it's better to keep it mid or even higher and let the gravity do the work for you. It takes less muscle, it takes gravity's helping you, it's all great versus now you have to spend more muscle fighting gravity and going up in order to hit me up top. So keeping everything really low like that really isn't great. It's also really predictable. Like, I'm only worried about low shots because I know anything coming high,
Oh, dead. Dead.
Whoa.
I can finish. And that was just his whole gear starting to go down. So if you see his gear right near the end there, he's getting low.
Oh, dead.
See, his shield was just that much. He just had it 2 inches too low, and that's all I needed because his brain and everything was focused on go low, go down, and everything was there. So his shield even dropped a little bit, and that was just me, my friend Gravity, throwing that wrap over top, hitting the shoulder.
Oh.
All right, good fights. Well done. Yeah, just keep your guard basics. Keep your basics. Keep your guard nice. Don't shark fin. Don't lean over. Remember, your legs are the start of your defense, and then your gear is your secondary defense if your legs fail. So don't lean over and force all your weight into one leg so your legs can't move to defend you. Keep a nice, good center of balance. If you want to hit the right side, then just step there, but you shouldn't preemptively step over there. You should step there to go with your shot. Don't just step there and I'm just going to stay here and hope he gives me something over there to swing at. Because if you step over there and you hope you give me something to swing at, it probably isn't going to happen. Or if it does happen, it's in a way I want you to do it. And if you think, oh, well, I'll fake over, well, now you're going to have to shift all your weight just to get back over. That's a lot of time. And it's a whole lot of time, which gives me a lot of times to figure out what you're doing and then block that as well and potentially even punish you while your whole body is kind of trying to lift and shift the weight. And oftentimes, if you're down, you shift and lift your weight. Your gear will then kind of move to start that momentum to try to get you going quickly, and that's where you die because your gear is no longer in that perfect blocking position. All in all, great job.